The clock on the wall struck midnight as the winds outside howled with an unearthly fury. Amy sat alone in the old mansion that she had inherited from her granduncle, a man she had never met but who had left enough mysteries behind to fill volumes. She had returned to the mansion to settle his affairs, but the creaking floors and whispering walls suggested that something else had returned with her. The mansion stood at the edge of a dark forest where the townsfolk dared not tread. They spoke in hushed tones of the shadows that roamed the woods, shadows that would vanish if you tried to follow but would haunt your dreams. Amy had never believed in such stories until she moved in. As the wind rattled the windows, she heard footsteps echoing down the hallway, rhythmic and deliberate. Her breath hitched. She grabbed the only weapon she could find, a rusted fireplace poker, and ventured out of the room. Each step she took seemed to amplify the pounding of her heart. She saw nothing, yet felt the presence of eyes watching her every move. The hallway stretched longer than she remembered, every door shut tightly, guarding whatever they held within. The shadows seemed thicker here, as if the darkness was alive. Amy reached the end of the hall, where a single door remained slightly ajar. A soft, eerie light seeped through the crack, casting elongated shadows that danced against the walls in grotesque shapes. She hesitated, her grip tightening on the poker, and then pushed the door open. The room was empty, except for an old mirror covered in a heavy layer of dust. The light seemed to be coming from the mirror itself, a pulsating glow that drew her closer. As she approached, she felt a chill settle over her skin, an unexplained coldness that seemed to seep into her bones. She reached out to touch the mirror, and the surface rippled like water. Terrified yet entranced, she leaned closer, her reflection looking back at her with eyes that seemed too knowing. Suddenly, she saw another face appear beside hers, a face twisted in a silent scream. Amy stumbled back, dropping the poker. The face in the mirror contorted and began to speak, though no sound came out. It mouthed 3 words, "He's still here." Panic gripped her as the room grew colder, frost creeping up the walls. Shadows poured from the mirror, filling the room with a darkness that swallowed the light. She tried to run, but her feet refused to move, as if the shadows had ensnared her. The door slammed shut behind her, trapping her in a void of blackness. Her screams were swallowed by the silence, and the last thing she saw was her own terrified face in the mirror, slowly fading into the shadows.